It's been 6 months since the Amazon. 6 months since I traded a world of quiet birdsong for one of absolute silence. My great-grandfather's journal called this place the furnace of ghosts. And for once, his flair for the dramatic was an understatement. I'm in the heart of the Sahara, where the horizon is a shimmering lie and the sun is a merciless eye. The green hell was a place of oppressive life. This is a place of absolute emptiness. My guide, a Tuareg man named Farid, whose family had traded with Arthur Pendleton's caravans, left me 3 days ago. He pointed to a constellation of rock formations on the horizon and said, "Beyond lies the sunken pearl. No living thing finds shade there." He was right. The heat isn't just in the air. It radiates from the sand, the sky, the very marrow of your bones. There are no insects, no animals. Just the whisper of the wind over the dunes and a high-pitched, resonant frequency that makes your teeth ache. According to Arthur's journal, that sound means I'm close to the second seal. His notes on this location are short, brittle, and stained with what looks like dried blood. He wrote, "The thirst here is not for water, it is for power. It promises a crown. One must be empty, a vessel. Do not be filled." I'm trying to be empty, but it's hard when the heat cooks up mirages of home, of cool water, of a life where I wasn't the world's most secret and least qualified janitor. I have the lantern, a new map, and his journal. This is my second test, and I can feel this prison is not just failing, it's actively trying to break out. The journey from the last outpost was a lesson in torment. The desert here actively conspires against you. Dunes shift to erase your path. The sun creates phantom lakes just out of reach, and the silence is so profound, it starts to have a voice of its own. Arthur's rules for this land were stark. Trust the shadow that points toward the sun. Drink only when the moon is highest. The wind is a liar. Listen to the stones. He didn't leave symbols carved in rock here. Instead, I navigated by impossible geography. Rock spires that shouldn't exist in a sea of sand. Canyons that cut through dunes like fresh wounds. These landmarks were my only proof that I was still sane. 2 days ago, I found it. The sunken pearl. It's not a city, but a single massive dome of white polished stone half buried in the sand. It gleams under the sun, vast and seamless, with no visible entrance. The architecture is older than the Amazonian temple, smoother, with no sharp angles, only curves. The air around it shimmers with a visible, intense heat. This is what the old texts called the tomb of the sun-eater, a prison built before humanity learned to write, for a power that delighted in endings. I walked its perimeter for a full day before I found the way in. Arthur's journal was clear. The door is not a door. It is a shadow that must be opened. At high noon, when the sun was directly overhead, the shadow of a lone, twisted rock spire fell upon a specific point on the dome. As I stepped into that shadow, the stone became intangible, like walking through a curtain of heat. Inside, the heat intensified. The air smells of ozone and hot metal. The humming I'd been hearing outside was now a deafening, piercing whine. "Harm no sentinels," Rule 6 stated. The sentinels here are not statues. They are beings of pure heat, shimmering figures that look like armored warriors, standing in silent alcoves. They are made from the mirages I saw outside, given form and purpose. I have to walk past them, my own sweat evaporating before it can even form. They don't turn their heads. I can just feel their focus, like 1,000 sunbeams pointed at my soul. The deeper I go, the more the whispers change. In the jungle, they preyed on doubt. Here, they prey on ego. They don't sound like my voice. They sound like a chorus, a crowd, chanting my name. You survived the green hell. You mastered the shadows. You are worthy. This power should not be caged. It should be wielded. It's a direct assault on my purpose, and I have to clench my fists until my knuckles are white to remember Arthur's words. Be a vessel. I've reached the central chamber, a vast circular amphitheater, carved from the same white stone. There's no ceiling, only an opening to the desert sky, now a deep, star-dusted indigo. In the center of the chamber is the seal. It's a blinding point of light, a miniature sun floating an inch above the floor. It doesn't radiate heat, it is heat. It's a singularity of pure energy, contained by a cage of shimmering golden glyphs that are visibly cracking and flaking away like old paint. This is the lock, and it's on the verge of melting. The whispers aren't coming from it. They're coming from me, from the part of me that sees this power and wants it. The ritual must be performed during a specific celestial event Arthur called the Eye of Thirst, a rare alignment where a distant nebula is perfectly framed by the chamber's opening. That alignment is happening now. I must use the lantern. But this time, the instructions are different. The silver light is not a key. It is a focus. It does not give darkness form. It gives your will a blade. It shows you the true shape of your duty so that you may sever the temptation. I take out the lantern. My hands are bone dry. The whispers are a symphony of praise, promising me apotheosis, the power to remake a broken world in my image. I have to be empty. Rule 1. I am a janitor. My job is to fix the leak, not drink the ocean. As the nebula's faint blue light fills the aperture above, the chamber is cast in an ethereal glow, making the miniature sun of the seal burn even brighter. It's time. I take out the flint and steel. The sound of the spark is swallowed by the piercing wine. I light the lantern. The silver-white flame ignites, cold and impossibly bright. It doesn't push back the darkness. It cuts through the light. The shimmering heat sentinels in the halls outside solidify, their forms turning from mirage to statues of obsidian. The lantern's light reveals the truth. And the seal, the silver light doesn't lay a pattern over it. It projects my own shadow onto the floor, long and sharp. Within my shadow, on the stone floor, I can see the broken glyphs. I can see where the cage is failing. Not as cracks in a ward, but as impurities in my own resolve, reflected back at me. 6 of them. The journal contains the process. It involves a fine gray powder made from ground desert moonstones. I am not to trace the lines. I am to place a pinch of powder on each broken glyph within my shadow, using my will, focused by the lantern's light, to recarve the symbol of containment. I kneel, my own shadow a stark blade on the floor. The whispers are a roar of adoration. Take it and be a god. I take a pinch of powder. The moment my fingers touch the stone, a searing heat shoots up my arm. The roar in my head becomes a single voice. My voice. You deserve this. Visions flash behind my eyes. Me, wreathed in fire, armies kneeling, the world silent and orderly under my perfect rule. It's showing me the prize. I force the words of binding from my raw throat. They feel like swallowing hot sand. I am the vessel, the cup that does not drink. I place the powder on the first broken glyph. The silver light from the lantern intensifies, and my shadow seems to burn the symbol back into place. The seal's blinding light dims fractionally. One down. I move to the next. The psychic adulation increases. It's seducing me. It shows me a vision of my own face, carved into a mountain, worshipped by millions. It tells me this is my destiny. I grit my teeth, my voice a dry rasp, and place the powder on the second glyph. The symbol flares and reforms. 3, 4, 5. With each restored glyph, the temptation becomes exquisite. I feel my resolve fraying. My skin is blistering with heat that isn't real. But the seal's light is retracting, shrinking, its energy being forced back into its cage. One last breach, the largest one, right over the shadow of my heart. As I reach for it, the voice changes. It's my great-grandfather's voice again. She was right. Your mother. You were always meant for more than this. This is your birthright, not a burden. Claim it. For a terrifying second, I believe him. But I remember his true words. Be empty. A vessel. A janitor's work is never done, I whisper, and with a final surge of will, I place the last of the powder down and shout the final word of binding. A wave of absolute focused silence radiates from the lantern, not as light, but as a force. The miniature sun implodes, collapsing in on itself until it's a single, stable, silent point of golden light no bigger than a marble, perfectly suspended in its now whole cage of glyphs. And then, quiet. The wine is gone. The whispers are gone. I'm kneeling on the hot stone, every muscle screaming. The lantern flame has died. The chamber is lit only by the faint, steady glow of the restored seal. The oppressive heat is gone. The air is still and cool. I look at the floor. The cage is whole. The prison is secure. I did it. It almost had me. I emerged from the sunken pearl as the moon was setting. The desert air felt cool and clean against my skin. The silence was no longer a presence. It was just an absence of sound. This legacy is a razor's edge. It's not a fight against monsters. It's a fight against the part of yourself that agrees with them. My great-grandfather walked this edge his entire life. This is only the second time I've crossed it, and I can already feel its erosion on my soul. I have the map laid out on a rock. With a hand that barely trembles, I draw an X over the location in the Sahara. 2 down, 3 to go. The journal already shows me the next point of failure. It's not a place of extremes, not fire or jungle. It's a place of steel, glass, and electricity. A place so loud you can't hear the whispers. The next seal is weakening deep beneath the foundations of Tokyo. I am not the man who entered the desert. I'm not even the man who left the jungle. I'm becoming something else. A collection of rules and scars. The world is the same, but my place in it is shrinking, becoming more defined. It's a series of crumbling prisons, a set of impossible instructions. And me. I don't know what's waiting for me under the world's biggest city. I just know the cycle must be upheld. My name is the only one in the book. The journey is far from over.